Warhammer 40k, Jesus Christ, I'm so happy. Stream. Well, the stream is not called Warhammer 40k, I'm so happy, but I am. So, hi to you guys. Live top 10 as well as I like to do these things. And welcome to everybody in the chat. Dear Clayton, Jake, Ivy, Optic. Oh, Nash? Oof, Mr. Wolf. Dark. So, hi to you. So, guys, I had this idea in me to make, this top 10 human factions, and after that, maybe top 10 alien factions, going by what Bricky did in his breakdown of the factions, basically. So when I covered his videos, I was just reacting to his videos, and by that time I didn't really know much about Warhammer, so I was just, basically reacting to what he's saying, and my initial, uh, wow, yes, it's exactly what I just said. My initial impressions of what the heck Warhammer is and all of those crazy, factions, and I mean they're so different than anything else. So I have here those factions, and I'm going to put them into a top 10 that is just based on my personal likings now that I know about them. So the worst place, of course, gonna be 10. So 10 means the ones that I care less about. And towards the number one is going to be, of course, the ones that I'm more of a fan of. And I'm going to explain, of course, my reasoning behind it. So, let's start. So, top 10, guys, human factions live. Number 10, and and the faction that I care less about, are the, I'm gonna say it, uh, really, he did? Oh my gosh, he did? Dark? Thank you. How short is it? Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm gonna cover it. So I'm gonna get to my top 10, and after the stream I'm gonna check what he got out, if I can cover it right away, if not tomorrow. But Jesus Christ, I'm excited. Okay, so assassins, number 10. Assassins. So assassins are number 10, because guys, I'm not really connecting to that whole idea. I mean, I personally love assassins. My favorite game is Assassin's Creed. I mean, one of my most favorite franchises is Assassin's Creed. But assassins in the 40k universe, what to tell ya, they're depressingly scary, which is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to a fictional universe, because that makes them very unique and kind of exciting, because one kind if I can say a kind, one kind of them are like the infiltrators, the one that can sit with a target for months and then kill it when they want to. One are the ones, the craziest and the scariest, that they just have to be somewhere and people die. Ones are those sniper types that can just watch target from afar for months, and so on. But for some reason, they're just nothing appealing, at least for me, with that faction, just because they're very automatic. I mean, they're people is like, is not the right term, but they're brainwashed more than anyone else, pretty much. And I really don't like that concept as a whole, to brainwash someone to do your bidding. That's against their will, against their humanity, against everything. They don't choose anything, they just do. So that whole thing is just so anti-humane that it goes against also what I deem, to be valuable, so to speak. So I understand that they can be very interesting as a concept, but they're just figurines on a chessboard. So for me, that just nothing that I could put a big of a value on them. Nothing that resonates with me. So number 10, assassins. Uh, okay. It's 8 minutes. Okay. Hope it is. Hope that means that the short is 8 minutes, because that's still good. Thank you, Dark. Number 9 are the Adeptus Mechanicus. And they're number 9 because while I do have more of a appreciation for them, because they're doing a ton of work for the Imperium. They're creating, all the weapons, and yeah, I mean, they're sustaining the Astartes. Just the whole technological infrastructure of the empire, of the Imperium, is counting on them. So that is awesome. But uh, particularly them as a faction, as ways of thinking, they're fanatical, like well, pretty much everyone are, but they're fanatical in their own way. They worship the own Messiah. They're chanting. they're they're hating their flesh. They're just very much self-centered in their asses, all of those things that are out of touch in a lot of ways. And although, once again, they're very unique, like everything in Warhammer is very well thought out in terms of the uniqueness of it. That doesn't mean that it's well thought out in terms of what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, but they're very unique by their nature. So I never seen anything like this. A human that is crossed with a machine that also looks like something that exploded and then was tossed into space, then shot with bolter guns. Then somebody came and tried to stitch it together and glue it with with Loctite or something, and then just put it on Mars and said, "You're a tech priest." So that is how they're looking to me. And yeah, I mean, they're just so robotic and so not human that there's just nothing there for me to grab onto, once again, based on what I value as qualities in any kind of a way. So I do appreciate the fact that they are sustaining the Imperium with all of the technology, but when it comes to themselves, there's not really that I like, except that guy, Barras. Damn it, I forgot his name. Belisarius Cole. No, that was not his first name. Well, that guy, Cole, that he made the Primaris. I mean, he's a genius. I really love his work. I mean, I really love everything that he does. Everything that he does, in this way, that he's the genius. So he's the Tony Stark. Well, that's very bad analogy. Okay, he is the Dexter, the Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. Or maybe the other guy. How was the other guy that was the bad guy from Dexter? Damn it, it's the other guy, the other genius that he always, okay, never mind. I really appreciate that guy, okay, because he is the genius. That is enough. That's enough said there. So, continuing with number 8 is let me just make sure that that's number 8, because I did change my mind before the stream. Okay. Okay, so number 8 are the Imperial Knights. The Imperial Knights, not the Grey Knights, the Imperial Knights, those huge mech machines that have a man inside, and they are connected to the man, and they basically have this neurological connection, just like, no, not basically just like, but that big movie with the kaijus, Pacific Rim. So yeah, something like that, and the way that they're connecting with the machine. So yeah, Imperial Knights, they're cool and all of that. And like all the other factions, they are separate. I mean, they have different. One that is loyal to the Adeptus Mechanicus, and one that is loyal to the Imperium, and also some chaotic ones that actually fell to corruption. So they have nothing to do with the with the Grey Knights, because Grey Knights are incorruptible. They are totally different, and the Imperial Knights just totally different things. And yeah, I mean, they're not that substantial for me, at least in terms of how interesting I'm finding them. They're just war machines that are very good for war. They're also governors in some worlds, which is interesting. Some are independent, which is also interesting. But I feel like their lore is not that amazing. Like, you can dig in so much into the Astartes and the Primarchs, let's say, even in the Inquisition. But Imperial Knights, like, okay, like warrior machines, fine, you know? Oh, Belisarius. Thank you. Belisarius Cole. Yes, and thank you, dear Clyde, for the feedback. Yeah, since I got into Warhammer, and since I'm listening to the warrior books, to the Warhammer books, I really, you can say that I learned how to pronounce everything. Just some names are still fuzzy to me because they're kind of, well, they're just don't really roll out the tongue very easy, especially for me. But yeah. Belisarius Cole, I still remembered his name, so you have to give me props for that. Okay, next one is number 7. And Dexter, yes, it's such a great. What? Oh, one of them fell to the hive mind. Well, what do you mean is not true? I didn't mention everything about their lore. I just mentioned some stuff, to explain their kinds, and that one that some are independent and some are not, and all of those things. I mean, the point is they're not that interesting to me. Okay, next is the Inquisition. So yeah, the Inquisition is number 7. Well, that's the sacred number, actually. But besides that, what to tell you? I really want to get to that book already, to Eisenhorn book, but I haven't already. But for what I know of the Inquisition and their basically ultimate power, only second to the Emperor, they're once again, well, they're very self-centered again. Like everybody in the Imperium, some kind of a way, they're in their asses, and basically they're asses that are that are very in their asses, and they're have ultimate power. So that's a very good combination. But some they're really cool because they do wear, uh, some kind of a armor like the Astartes, like we saw in that game, the Inquisitor game. Not sure if that was the whole title, but that super cool Inquisitor from one of those games like 2 years back, the isometrical game. Yes, so that Inquisitor is super cool. So yeah, the Inquisition, they're um, you know they're mostly a lot more interesting than the others, so obviously that's why they're here. But once again, it's like I have a blockade and I cannot just resonate with anything that is going on with the Inquisition. Mm, because it's just so, how to like a faction that can destroy a planet, can decide, like, outside everything else, uh, the destiny of, well, whoever they wish. And yeah, I mean, what to tell you, they're just cool. They're just cool to look at, and they have a lot of power. But besides that, Inquisition, like, not really something that's onto my heart, so to speak. Okay. After that, we reach number 6. We have Imperial. Sorry, everything is Imperial. We have Grey Knights. So yeah, Grey Knights. Here's something finally that I can, stick my teeth into. No, not really, because I'm gonna break my teeth, but they're really cool. I really like them. I just love their concept. So here's something that I really love, the concept, because they're uncorruptible as far as we know. They're super strong. They're super badass, and well, one of them is very badass, especially that guy that was so cool in the TTS. It's so funny. He's like in and out of the warp, in and out of the warp. You know who I'm talking about. Um, yeah, I totally forgot his name right now, but he is just a unique person. It kind of seems like, I mean, in Warrior, kind of seems like since he defeated demons, he can also maybe defeat a Custody. Who knows? It's not kind of supposed to happen, but he's a psyker and Custodies are not psychers, so interesting. That's always interesting debate, Grey Knights against Custodies. That, I think that has a lot of meat in it. I mean, a lot of breath in it. So I gotta record this. Jesus. Yes. Let me get my textbook. So, interesting. Before I forget, I mean, Custodies versus Grey Knights for the future. For the future. For a future video. So, I can't discuss that, but I do think that there's a lot more things to be said and do a good versus, like, Okay. So we reach number 5 now. And did we reach number 5? Yes. Okay, so let me recap. Thank you, dear Ivy. Let me recap real quick. So, number 10, Assassins. Number 9, Adeptus Mechanicus. Number 8, the Imperial Knights. Number 7, the Inquisition, yes. Number 6, Grey Knights. Number 5, I really have to rewrite this. I mean, the way that I can read it. Number 5 is thank you, Dark. Caldor Drago. Awesome. Badass. So, number 5 are going to be the Imperial Guard. So, Imperial Guard, guys, as you all know, there are so many different Imperial Guards. I actually just learned that there's some special type of Imperial Guard that is guarding the Inquisition sometimes, and they have better armor. That is so interesting. I mean, I also love to do a video comparing different Imperial Guardsmen, like, the Dead Corps of Krieg, the regular ones, and I'm sure that I'm gonna find like that Inquisition type of basically bodyguards. I'm sure that I'm gonna find some other kinds. So I think that's also a good idea. Okay, let me check. Let me write this down as well, because it's not for missing out. So Imperial. I just write terrible because I'm an artist. Imperial Guardsman. But no, really. I totally wreck my signature in first grade. Okay. The teacher is to blame. So, that's about that. So Imperial Guards, the appealing factor, which I appreciate, is of course that they are humans and they're still fighting side by side as Astartes sometimes, and they are the majority of the army and they're giving their lives. They do have families, as far as I remember, not like the Astartes. They are more human than the Astartes, naturally. And it's just, it just hits you in the feels when you know that those are soldiers that are not enhanced, and they're still giving their lives. They don't have the mentality of the Astartes. They're just like day-to-day humans. They have like normal interactions with each other, all of those things. And when you get them just being slaughtered like cattle because there are many and they're on the front lines, it is just sad, and that makes them more brave, and that just makes them a bit more like, well, how to say this, when something is not artificial but they're just having it because it's who they are. They're still conditioned and trained, but unlike the Astartes, it's not like integrated in their minds to be so like a horse with lids, uh, to be. I mean, Astartes have personalities and all that, of course, but the point is that they're not as conditioned as the Astartes to just think in one way. They're more, human, and they just retain more human qualities. And when they give their all, like they did on Cadia, that is just more valuable in terms of quality compared to someone like an Astarte who is given a lot of what they possess, and including their determination and all of that. It's just in their gene seed. And with that gene seed, of course, come the flaws. So the qualities and the flaws, everything. But the guards are a lot pure in that way. So whatever they give from themselves, it's really from themselves. So that is just a lot more worthy of respect in that way, you can say, compared to the Astartes. They're a lot weaker physically, but inside, when they decide to give their lives and when they decide to do something brave on the battlefield, it's just more valuable because it really comes from their inner self and not something that's integrated through like outside means into themselves. So here's something that I really value. First line of defense. Yes. Valhallan Ice Warriors. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, thank you for telling me that, because now I remembered, and when I watched Bricky actually, that there's like so much more. There's even that, oh damn it, my hair, that Rambo, that I always mistake his name, not Rambo, but damn it, not, how was it? Damn it, I don't know what's happening to me with names, but that guy that's very close to Rambo, and he's a badass, and he did so many extremely amazing things. So Imperial Guardsmen, they're like a lot, like regular Rambo type, Valhallan. That's so awesome. Okay, Valhallan. Slay Marble! Sly! Sly! Damn it! It's just so funny because they combined Sylvester Stallone's real nickname. It's just so funny. That's why I couldn't remember it, because they actually combined his real name. Interesting. I have no idea who Sam is or Emma. Where is that from? But even if I don't right now, when I do my research for all of those guardsmen, I'm gonna see who's who did what, and make the chart. So after that, we have to keep this going. So that's about the Imperial Guard, the Honorable Imperial Guard. After that, we have number 4, Sisters of Battle. No, sorry, Sisters of Silence. Sisters of Silence, sorry. Thank you, dear Abby. So yeah, Sisters of Silence. They're fascinating. First to say, I had my meeting firsthand, so to speak, with the Sisters of Silence, where when I read The Flight to Eisenstein, and there was a bit of Sisters of Silence there, just a bit. We saw we saw. I mean, I heard how they are fighting on the battlefield and how they were perceived. And one sister was not really in the order yet, so she could speak at that point. So that was also very interesting, just fascinating. So they're strong. They're helping the custodies. I mean, they're like a continuation of the custodies, so to speak. So they're very important in that way because they're blanks and they're block psychers, and custodies really don't have anything to protect themselves against psychers. Well, unless they can reach them physically and kill them, but other than that, the sisters are basically a very good shield, and they're really good warriors as far as I know, fighting awesomely. So they're cool, they're interesting, they're very original. I never heard of characters like them, faction and whatever it is like them, warrior women basically like them. I never heard anything like that. So they're very interesting. I really feel for them and how they have to exist being blanks, not be able to speak. The being blanks part is just, how they are searching for psychers. All those things. I mean, they're really cool. So when I study more about them in the future, we'll see if I ever change my mind. But for now, they're number 4 because I just think that they're pretty unique, pretty cool, and they're functional in the rules of the Imperium. I mean, of how everything works with each other and against each other. They're really serving a purpose. So, absolutely, Sisters of Silence. What they do, well, they fight, and like I've said, they help the custodies. Because the custodians are very strong, extremely strong warriors, clad in golden armor, and the sisters are also very awesome warriors. But if there's a psyker with powers of with similar powers like Palpatine, just making the analogy, not that psychers are the same as Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars, but just making that analogy for you optics, so you can get things together. Psychers are also like, telepaths, and they can control things with their mind, a lot of things. So the anathema to that are Sisters of Silence, because they're just the opposite of that, and they repose all psychers, and psychers cannot bear to be around them. And the custodians don't really have such powers, so the sisters are literally like shields against any psyker. So that's cool. Next number 3. So we are now in the top 3, guys. Top 3. Before I say that, some of them work on black ships. Okay, I gotta see that. So number 3, yes, with the drum roll, are the custodies. I'm kidding. So the custodies is not that I meant to put them in front of Sisters of Silence, and I mean for them to be together, but just how it happened. So the custodies were actually my most favorite before. The custodies, like I said, the golden clad guys, the personal guard of the Emperor. My favorite one is Kitten, in case you're wondering. Kitten is awesome. And they're pretty unique, and I just really think that they're super cool. But when I went through Fulgrim, not Fulgrim, when I went through the previous book, The Last Heretic, the Custodies, because there are, well, pretty substantial part of the story, you can say. They were fighting with some of the Astartes, and the Astartes explained how they see them, the word bearers, and basically they said like, well, they are amazing on the battlefield, but they're not fighting as a unit, they're fighting as individual warriors. Because, every custody is very self-sufficient and well-rounded. They can do whatever they need to do, strategize on their own, fighting on their own. So that's why they're doing that, I guess. But it's just interesting, like super fascinating to see the outside perspective of the Astartes, because the Astartes are also like brother, 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 you know. And they're, yeah, they're counting on each other and all of those things, but the Custodes are like, we are the Custodes. I don't know why I do this. I'm just very, well, a huge geek, I guess. And I love warriors. So, yeah, the Custodes, what I actually, they could have been number one, but I was a bit off, yeah, I mean, turned off by how they were behaving. They're very self-centered once again, at least in the word bears. I mean, the the last heretic book. They're very, like, well, uh, arrogant. Yes, arrogant. I mean, understand that they're the strongest warriors in the whole Imperium after the Primarchs, but what to tell ya? I really, yeah, I just don't like at least those custodies that were in that book. I just didn't like them. I like Kitten, but I can't. I mean, I don't know where to read about Kitten yet. You can tell me. Kitten will not be happy. Well, actually, Kitten, I have no idea how is his personality in the novels, but if he is anything like TTS, I would totally love him. But if he is just another pompous guy with the stick up his butt, nah, I really will not have anything to grab onto. So, Custodes number 3. Number two, we are closing in, are going to be Sisters of Battle. So, Sisters of Battle, guys, I decided to put them number 2 because they're the female version of the Astartes, as far as that is possible, of course. We know the difference. They're not, super soldiers engineered with 2 hearts and gene seed and all of that, but they're pretty strong, pretty effective on their own. They also have different factions, like, smaller factions in between them, some stronger than others, some do this, some do that, and they're extremely fanatical, but, well, fanatical and intelligent at the same time. I mean, intelligent as warriors, but like so fanatical when it comes to the emperor, just ridiculous. But they're cult. They are a cult, so yeah, I mean, comes with the territory, I guess. But they're just the coolest. When we had this, major kill breakdown video of should there be female space marines. By the way, that conversation is still going on in the chat there. Some do point out that Sisters of Battle are like the equivalent of Space Marines as much as that is possible, and they're cool and unique on their own, so we don't really need to have female Space Marines, because it just doesn't make much sense from a physical standpoint to put all of that effort and to make just a weaker Space Marine that just gonna be turned well, not maybe necessarily weaker, because if they change the gene seed, I mean, the gene seed is gonna change physiologically that, let's say, those women, and their bones are gonna get, more, stronger, and their whole body's gonna get a lot stronger, but maybe they're gonna be a bit smaller, and overall, maybe they're gonna be a bit weaker than the Astartes, which is not really optimal, because Astartes, although they're super awesome and super strong, when I started reading the books and I see how they die like flies, they can still die like flies and killed by Xenos and all of that. The ceramite armor that is so praised all of a sudden becomes this, basically, well, a ceramic mug that just breaks all the time, and they're gushing blood from all places. Yeah, it's just so colorful how these books are written. It's just yuck. Sometimes it's very yucky. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm used to that, to the verbal blood and gore, but sometimes it's just really horrible. Yeah, anyway. So, having that in mind, Sisters of Battle are just the female presence that I personally like to have, and to see, strong female warriors just fighting and just giving their all to the emperor. When they pray, they get healed, and all those things are just very interesting, very fascinating. Don't really make much sense to me, but uh, that's a long topic. Why? But they're still very cool, especially that 9th edition trailer that they covered. Eh, I mean, they were made very awesome, and you really resonate with their struggles, and how devoted they are in battle, and how they just give their all and fighting side by side with the Astartes, and doing just whatever they can do, and it's just that's commendable. So I just appreciate that. So definitely Sisters of Battle at number 2, guys. Now, time for number 1. And Hey to Angel. So time for number 1. Of course, number 1 is going to be, are going to be the Space Marine, guys. Like, is that any kind of a way, a surprise? So, yeah, number 1, Space Marines. And the reason why is, since I started the books, I just connected a lot more with them. And now, with those 5 books, I went through, well, 5 books from the Heresy, but in fact, in total, 7 books now. I just connected to, well, several now of the legions, got to know them, how they think, how they fight, and there's so much humanity in them. I did say that the Imperial Guard is, of course, more human. Yeah, they are, but the Astartes, when they get to be an Astartes, and when they change in that way, they develop another personality that's still unique to each and every one of them. And some of them are so noble and a lot more intelligent than others. Some of them do question the positions that they're placed, the orders that they're giving, all of those things. So Nathaniel Garrow comes to mind right away as one of the most noble warriors that really has integrity, dignity. Uh, it just He's just loyal in a logical way. He's not like blindly loyal, but he knows what is wrong compared to something else that he doesn't know how that is right. The imperial and the emperor's ways, but he also knows that what is being done, what he's witnessing, that whole Nurgle uh, infection invasion, you can call it a lot of things. When he saw that corruption taking place in front of his eyes, he just, at the beginning he was like confused and disgusted and like, what the heck is happening, really shocked. But eventually he did recognize what is, what is evil, what's not, and how that is evil, because he saw how, they get corrupted, how their flesh is rotten, all of those things, the flies, and yeah. And he did do what he can, although he was hurt, very badly hurt. He had to recover. He gathered the strength to talk to Rogel Dorn and explain to him about the heresy. Rogel Dorn was so furious he almost killed him. There's just so much to Nathaniel Garrow that we can talk about, but the point is that, at least for what I went through with all the books, the Astartes are the faction that I connected most with. They're the epitome of warriors that are, well, all around strong, and strong in a lot of ways, mentally strong too, Of course, like I said, some more than others. Some are ridiculously, like I said, horse with the lids on the eye just one way and don't really think about much, but much about what's happening. But a lot of them are just very, very noble, especially those guys sorry, um, those guys that were on the Isfan system, and when Horus wanted to kill them, and yeah, I mean, I really felt for those guys that were trapped on the planet and all that. So just Astartes that just have a lot to admire and a lot to not admire as well. Uh, but they're really great. And when you think about someone, once again, like Dante, which I just can't wait to learn more about him, how resilient he is. He's old, but he's still going. Ah, it, it's just something, there's just something about being, your optimal self as much as you can and serving something that you actually believe in, like to your core, although it's not, once again, it's not like for the right cause, really. One thing that is right is protecting humanity, but protecting humanity is just the general idea, but in reality, they're going to other worlds that do not bother humanity and be like, you die now. You're just dead. Like, I don't care, you're Xenos, you dead now, because you may I mean, you have to conform to our ways and to become a part of the Imperium. If not, you die. So yeah, but you know what I mean, that they're a weapon, they're like a sword and a shield for the Imperium, but within themselves, with their own minds and their determination, those are qualities that isolated, they're good qualities, isolated. The fact that they're used in their own way, it's a totally different topic, but as warriors from a fictional universe, uh, Astartes are the coolest thing I've ever seen. The coolest. Just I love Astartes. I just adore them so much. So that's why they are number one, guys, and that's why I put them in front of the Custodes and everyone else, because there's a lot more to chew upon, a lot more depth into them. Like I said, Imperial Guards as well, more, in a lot of ways more. But when it comes to like the ultimate warriors, something that is a bit unprecedented because they're artificially created, it also creates characters that you cannot see anywhere else, and you cannot just experience through other characters' eyes certain ways of war and thinking the way that you can through an Astarte. So yeah, Astartes number one, absolutely. I kind of lost my voice here. Okay, that was the top 10, guys. I'm just gonna watch the chat for a bit. What is your last name, Randon? Ironhide, you. Pedro Cantor. No, I have not. Who is he? Orcs Tuska. Demon Killer? Well, I do want to do top 10 alien factions. So, like I said, going by Bricky's factions, next it has to be top 10 alien factions. So, before I forget, let me just write this down because I already have like a few things here. So let me just write that I also have to do top 10 alien factions, and there's a lot of, 10 alien factions that are so interesting on themselves. So there's gonna be a lot of delicious things to talk about there. Not delicious is not the right word. You know what I mean? Alien factions. Okay, alien factions. Ready. Oh, Jake, you can always go back and watch it. Don't worry about it. And Blade, hi to you. Oh, you mean your last name? Palacios, I guess. Okay. Top 10 war boss? War boss. What do you mean war boss? Is that the orc thing? I mean, is that an orc thing? War boss. Because the only, orcs, okay. The only thing that is similar that I can connect it with something is the orcs. So, top 10, top 10 war bosses. I do not have enough of page. I'm gonna go to the other page. So, top 10 war boss orcs. So they have like commanders, I think, that are the big baddies. Orcs. Wow, I wrote that horribly. Can barely read it. I hope I can read it after that. Oh, chapter master of the Crimson Fists. Oh, okay, that's awesome. Wolf Lord talks about a story where he saves a small family. It almost made you cry. Ah, okay, that's interesting. Okay, chapter master. Oh, those are really important stuff, guys. Like, thank you, because I just can't wait to get to all of that. I wanted to get to everything with the books, but that's gonna take a lot of time. So as I'm reading the books anyway, and now I am on Legion, just to remind you that I'm on Legion. It's just nothing wrong for me to do the those researchers in the same time. Chapter master of the Crimson Fist. Okay. But I cannot do everything at once. So first the top 10s, and then I'm gonna check about that. I'm sure that there's so many smaller Warhammer stories that are worth seeing, worth reading, and worth covering, and there's a lot of meaning in there. Yes, I did wrote Pedro. Oh, wait. I don't know why I'm thinking about the Mandalorian right now. Ah, yes, because I'm thinking about Pedro Pascal. That's why. Interesting, okay. And by the way, in Legion, for the first time, I see the character of John Grammaticus. So now I'm learning about him as well, firsthand. I'm super excited. Guide to Warhammer, Pedro Cantor, Chapter Master of the Crimson Fist. I'm trying to go around, Baldermort as much as I can, but if I can't, okay. I always try to go through 40k theories. They're like my priority, and then everyone else, because 40k theory just explain everything perfectly. I just love their style. Subs on YouTube. What's that? Oh, okay. Okay, let me write that too. So, if you say it's short, because his videos are usually long and more dramatic than the books, but that's just me. Okay, subs. Okay, that's a lot of material. Okay. Sometimes, like when I covered Rogel Dorn, his story, which by the way was a request from one of my Primarchs here, Elevartus. If he's watching, hi to you. And that was awesome. I really enjoyed, how he explained everything about Rogodorn and Sanguinius, and I almost cried. But for the most part, sometimes he just does things in an over dramatic way. I even forget what I was watching before he starts. Like, just not my thing. But if he just gets straight to the story and explains what is happening without too much of dramatization, I would be super okay with that. So everything that is like the Rogoldorn type of narration, I'm okay with that because he didn't take a lot of time to start and to dramatize, and then how he read it. And when he was really dramatic, it was on point, and I didn't feel that it was too much or on the nose. Because, when I also read now the stories and I see the amount of drama that is put into the actual story, and then when I hear him explain it in his way that is really over that, like over dramatic, I just feel that's just not genuine because it does not present. I mean, not on purpose. I'm not saying that he's not genuine on purpose. I'm just saying that he's making it out to be even more dramatic and more of what it is. Actually, it's like this very funny part of an Indian TV show where a woman is trying to strangle herself with the drapes. That's the funniest thing that I've ever seen. She's literally like taking the drapes and doing that around her neck, and she's like, oh, it's so, oh, I cannot breathe. But she cannot do anything with that. She's not doing anything. She's just over over dramatizing everything. So, and that is when I'm just laughing and not really feeling it. It gets cringy. It just gets cringy, guys. So if it's on point, I'm okay with that. If it's over the board, it's cringy to me. So that's just how I feel things. Uh, oh no, I don't mind iron. Thank you very much for that. I'm literally recording these things, although very like a doctor, but I'm recording. I have terrible handwriting, but yeah. Um, and like Ivy says, you can always drop a comment. Although I have a lot to go through, I have a lot of Indian movies to cover now. So I do plan to cover both Warhammer Indian movies. So if you see Indian reactions, I really want to do that. It seems like people really enjoy that, so I really have to do that. And I really gonna watch KGF. I really want to watch that movie and that other movie War because it looks like really a big action, like Fast and Furious types of film. My point is that, guys, I am onto Warhammer. I'm not giving up on Warhammer, not even for a second. I'm here for the long haul. But the point is, when you see brief Indian film reactions, it's just the new thing that I have to do. I just have to do it. Yeah, that's just for information for you guys. So it's the same as they give me a ton of suggestions. Just react to this Indian trailer, to that, and to this, and to that, and this, and that. In the same way, you can give me a ton of suggestions. And as always, guys, the permanent link to Golden Astartes, my Discord server, is in the description. So if you haven't joined the server, you can join the server at any time. It's free. Just, yeah, and you can literally talk to me person to person there and give me all the suggestions, post funny memes, whatever you wish. There are several topics there for videos, general talk and memes, very funny memes, just very funny memes. I just love the memes. Even some recipes these days of dear Jake, who just love to share his amazing pudding, beans pudding. That I still have to check that, the recipe. So Golden Start is open to everybody that wants to join. So let's see what else, guys. Yeah, Chapter Master Valak, I do watch him. So yes. Ah, you're there, Duke of Iron. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Optic, you're also welcome, although you're not a Warhammer fan, but uh, I think that Golden Start is gonna be just the perfect place for you because I think that you're just gonna have a lot of fun. Yeah, beans. The pudding with the black beans? Or with the. I mean, yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean, question mark? You wanna tell me there's another Jake there? Oh. Oh, there's a new. Oh, there's a new member. Awesome. I just saw that. Oh, that was today, actually. 1 hour ago. So yeah, that pudding. The pudding! That looks so delicious. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, yes. You know? Don't scare me, Jake. So, Angel, if yes, pudding with beans. Join the group if you like. I mean, if you have Discord. Although once again, I mean, well, Jake, if you say so. I really want to try it. So, guys, that is it. You gave me a lot of material. Really, next thing that I'm gonna aim to is the top 10 with the alien factions. But I have to go and see what our dear brother Astardi Fibusa did. So let me go and do that. If I can, I'm gonna do it now. If not, tomorrow. So gonna go for now, guys. Okay, Iron. If you are forced to pledge your soul to Chaos God, who would it be? If I'm forced, um, I don't know the context of being forced, but okay, if I'm really forced, oh, that's so hard. I mean, they're so bad. They're all bad. Uh, maybe corn. Yeah, maybe corn. Like the least. They're all bad, but corn is at least like the god of war, and at least he has some values that's not even. I don't know how that came out of my mouth, but well, he does appreciate strength and to be a warrior and all of that. So at least something that I'm connecting to, something. Not to mention what he takes, but if I have to like weigh the pros and cons, corn. What to do? I don't want to be in the Slaneshi camp, like not even close. Oh, okay. Elf Omnibus. Okie dokie. I really want to get to Warhammer Fantasy eventually, but I have my hands full with 40k. I cannot clone myself. Trick question. You would rather die for the Emperor, and Inquisitor is already on his way to your location. That's not fair. That's not fair to add things to the question. If I had the choice, I would not drink chaos in any way. I mean, rather die, or I would say I rather die, but you said forced, so I try to be fair with the context. The Inquisitors already. No. If you're gonna ask a question, you either present it as this is the only way, or you give the options or something like that. Jazz. Sorry. And Kokoi. Sorry, guys. The whole top 10 is done. The stream is done. I'm going to check what Amphi posted it, like I said. And if not today, again, see you tomorrow, covering Fibusa. But next video that I really want to make is top 10 alien factions. So top 10 human factions, go back and watch the whole stream, you see which they were, and top 10 alien factions next time. So love you guys, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to support me, as always, links down below. You can become a member of the Imperium, member of the channel. Check out my OnlyFans for meaningful sex education and fitness content, and of course there's always Patreon. But with that being said, guys, till next time in Gear G Reviews, have a great and awesome weekend. Love ya, my dear Garrities, Golden Astartes. Bye bye.